No doubt it's been a busy week here in Washington and across much of the country as well, with the federal takeover of the district and several high-level shakeups inside the administration. CBS News Justice Correspondent Scott MacFarlane joining us now to break things down on what has been an active week. Scott, good to see you as always. Let's start with Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr., who dismissed CDC Director Susan Moranos just weeks after she was sworn in. Now, we're learning that she was fired after raising concerns about changes to vaccine policy, and 4 other top officials resigned as well. We saw demonstrations in Washington as a result of that. Scott, what exactly does this mean for the CDC's credibility, and what's next for the agency?
They have a new, at least temporary leader. His name is Jim O'Neill. He's been part of the agency for some time. He now fills those shoes, at least until a new nominee comes forward and potentially goes through hearings. But there's been other resignations down the line at the CDC, people who say this is not an acceptable state of affairs at the agency, that they're being asked to do things they shouldn't do, that science is being disregarded. And of course, this has an impact locally. The CDC is headquartered in Atlanta, but they have connective tissue to so many programs, contractors, and federal workers here in our area that you can imagine that they're watching closely what happens next at the leading medical institution, the medical agency here in America.
Yeah, you know, when we think about vaccines, something that we've been talking about already, folks are a bit leery given what's going on with the CDC. Let's talk about President Trump now moving to remove Federal Reserve Board Governor Lisa Cook from her post. Now, she argues that the president does not have the authority and that her case went before a judge today. What are we learning from that hearing that took place?
A long hearing, potentially a landmark hearing, but no decision made today. There were about 2 hours of arguments here at the D.C. federal court. Lisa Cook's attorneys arguing that her removal, her purported firing, as they call it, would be unlawful, that she would have a violation of her Fifth Amendment rights if she were fired. She hasn't had a chance to defend herself against the accusations which the administration has cited in the firing. She's accused of declaring 2 different properties as her primary residence when seeking mortgages from banks. She's got arguments to be made about those accusations, but her attorney said today she hasn't had a chance to make them. And what's more, they're making the case that the president is trying to fire her because she's not cutting interest rates and following his policy goals. They're saying that the president's looking for an excuse to get an independent board under his thumb.
Before we let you go, President Trump also declaring victory in this federal takeover here in Washington. The administration has been signaling for some time now that Chicago could be the next city where they execute this federal surge. What legal avenues does the president have to deploy the National Guard troops to other cities around the country?
No, it's a real good question. Obviously, he has different authorities than he has here in the district. If you go to a city like Chicago or a city like Los Angeles. One thing I'll note is the governor of Illinois, J.B. Pritzker, made an argument that sounded just like the one Mayor Bowser's been making, that he'd welcome some extra federal agents, ATF, FBI, to help the local police combat crime, seize illegal guns, but doesn't want those Guard troops. The mayor has said it's un-American to have U.S. troops on U.S. soil patrolling U.S. communities. Governor's saying the same thing, but we'll see if he has more legal hurdles to throw up before the president that the district does not.
And of course, we'll see what that reaction will be should they, in fact, go there. Scott MacFarlane, try to have a good weekend, sir. But we always know that news breaks, so things will be busy. Good to see you. Thank you.